Are you ready? Call your mama, call your papa, call your friends. The festivities are about to begin. Boom!
Boom! Well, hello, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. We are live from Florida to the YouTube universe. Jose JG Gonzalez. I mean, Jose JG Boom! That's me. Nice rocking the Puerto Rican hat. Feeling good. Looking good. It's fresh out here today. It was raining heavy. Heavy rain earlier. The sound of the microphone is not the best. I just heard myself and it's a little weird. But oh well, it is what it is. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming in. Thank you for being subscribed and being here on time. I guess you guys had the bell notification icon. Maybe you were uh Discord maybe told you that we were going live. I spam my link, the YouTube link, in some Discord servers. There's a few servers that I didn't. So if you guys are members around a different Discords, throw a link and tell them that we are live in here today. And this is where the festivities happen. Thank you very much, everybody, for your support in the past few days. Big time. We got electricity for an extra month. Thanks to you guys. I appreciate that. But the show will go on and continues. All I'm asking you to do is what one person just did. They hit the like, hit the thumbs up. It's easy, it's free, it's convenient. You don't have to do much. Just hit the thumbs up. What do you think? Should they? Love it. Yes, they should. That's what the frog says. Thank you for being here in YouTube land. Farmer's Boy, Fred Bailey, Patio Furniture, Carl Christopherson, Jomungus, Thursby, Martin, Balanced Truths, Ben the Light, and Charlie Welsh. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here. And we are in the Discord server Daily Boom. I threw a link in the YouTube chat box a few minutes ago. Join link for Discord. And I will paste one of those again. So this is where you join. There's also a PayPal link pinned above in the YouTube land. If anybody want to support, you can hit me up over there, or you can use the super chat feature and send your question, comment, concerns, or responsible trolling comments in there. Shout out to Church and Farmers Boy, who are here on the Discord server Daily Boom.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hello.
Hey.
Sound on my microphone. It's not too bad, right?
No,
Good evening.
Fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I noticed listening to it. Probably the fan that I got here, the microphone doesn't catch the noise, but when I speak, I know there's a lot of air coming in, and the microphone kind of opens to the noise, so it's a little off to myself. But hey, it's all right. It's better than the one I had before, hot micing all over the place.
Oh yeah.
I'm happy with it.
I've got a fan running here, but I don't think the mic picks it up at all.
No, it doesn't.
Nada.
Can't hear it yet.
No, that's good. It is on its lowest setting, but the fan's right over on one side, and my microphone's on the other side of my head, so I think I'm sort of shielded from it because it's still quite warm. It's still a very pleasant summer over here.
We can begin now. Gary Webenga showed up in YouTube.
Oh. There you go then.
Yeah, my temperature's dropped to like 19 degrees today, so I don't have my fan on because I like 19 to like 20. Yeah, I'm happy with that, you know.
What, the temperature?
Yeah, but 19, 20. I prefer 18 degrees, but 19, 20, I don't need a fan on. It needs to get up to like 23, then I have to turn my fan on, you know.
Yeah, it's like 80 degrees in here, Fahrenheit. So it's like 28 for you guys, right? Not too bad.
Yeah, that's plenty warm enough. Thank you.
Yeah,
Not
it's
used to it.
because the rain cooled off the day. I called 80 degrees Fahrenheit cold, you know, like fresh now. It's actually nice.
No, I like somewhere around about, no, 60, 64. I'm happy about that, around about there, you know what I mean?
I mean, if you 2 weeks or 3 weeks on 95, 100 degrees, like for a few weeks in a row, when you get an 80, you appreciate it, you know.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah.
Fucking A.
Yeah, I don't understand that. No, we get like 100 degrees in England for like a day, and the railway melts and they can't put trains over it. You know, America gets that in some states, you know, when for a whole month, and they still run trains. Not very many of them because they don't have much railway, but they still run trains.
Yeah, it's been on for a few weeks now, probably a month now, like up in the hundreds. Crazy, man. There's been a few high temperature records in the. I know there was one over here in Florida like 4 or 5 days ago. Since the 90s at least, you know, a higher record for the last 25, 30 years. So, right.
Yeah, that's a
Gary
funny thing. I
Waringa.
mean, oh, no, on you go, mate.
Oh, I was gonna say Gary Waringa posted a few videos. We can take a look at them shortly over here. But go ahead.
Oh
Thursday.
yes, he did.
I was just going to say that in America, you're well, we call it a 4 foot in Scotland and England. It's about 4 foot between the wheels of a train. You know what I mean? That's why I call it the 4 foot. But it's actually, I think it's got 4.5 foot. But in America, I think it's like smaller than that. It's like 3.5 foot or something between from one side of the train's wheels to the other. I think it's only like three and
I'm
a half
trying
foot.
to I'm trying to figure out what you're saying. I couldn't understand certain words or phrases. I really don't know what you're talking about, Ters. I promise I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm talking about railway trains. You know what I mean? On railway.
Railway trains.
Railway
Okay.
trains, yes.
Choo choo.
Yeah,
No,
choo-choo.
no.
The distance between the two rails in Britain is about 4.5 feet. We call it the 4 foot, but it's about 4.5 feet. But in America, I believe it's shorter than that. The distance is only like 3.5 or something like that.
All right. I just remember I gotta change the hat. I got a new hat. I gotta try. I'll be back.
Oh,
I just wonder why their trains don't fall off the tracks so often, you know. Although they do occasionally fall off, you know.
You ready?
come on, big reveal.
Big reveal.
Big
Here we
reveal.
go. Boom.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, fucking A.
That
I
suits you.
love it, man.
That
All
suits you.
kinds of Puerto Rican flags.
I was going to say that's Puerto Rican flag on it. Yeah, it's not the USA flag. Yeah.
Nice little style hat. I like it. It looks like one of those Happy New Year hats.
It doesn't, does it?
I like it.
No, that
It's weird.
looks
I
cool.
never wear this type of hat, but let's get them. Yeah, I appreciate. I
Did
like
you buy that yourself, or did the family member buy it for you? Come on.
My
Sister
dad
bought
bought
that?
it.
Your dad
My
bought
dad
it.
bought it to me.
Ah.
Yep. My dad is the one that hooks me up with the hats and all the good stuff.
Yeah, he's into the good stuff, I tell you. Yeah, no, that's cool.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. He's into hats. He's a hat guy, and I appreciate it. Okay.
Yeah, I like hats
I
as
haven't
well.
used
Yeah.
it before because of this. It will get all crushed up and whatever. But when I got the little Bluetooth, oh yeah, I can use it. Fuck yeah. I feel
Yeah, so
festive.
what are the pods you're using? It's not Raycon then, it's something else, is it?
What was the question?
What are the AirPods you're using? They're not Raycon. What are they?
Oh, they're the chip J Lab chip. Yeah,
Oh,
like
okay,
Amazon.
yeah.
But they're all right. They last
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 hours, for one charge. So yeah, I'll take them. And then when I put it back in, this will recharge them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I bought a pair of Raycon. I get about 6 hours out of them, and then but I can put them back in as a little capsule, and it charges them back up, and then and I can get like nearly 3 days out of them. You know what I mean? It's amazing that the technology at that time, the little pod. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yep. All right. Shout out to Fred Bailey. He showed up in the chat. But we got Balance Truths and Gary Webenga in the chat box to keep the balance over there. Too many ballers over here. You guys should join Gary Webenga. You should join us over here on the Discord because we're about to play your videos. I think you say that that's okay with you when we play your videos. So, all right, let me find it first. Few more people showed up. Brad Wegner and James Mine. James Mine is sober today, so not talk about swimming on the moon. All right.
I didn't realise that was alcohol induced.
It definitely was alcohol induced, but also I was like a bit out of it because I had a lurgy, and I'm feeling a hell of a lot better today. So I'm not going to be talking about swimming underwater or anything. Okay.
But it was good. It was funny, man. I enjoyed that a lot. Fucking A. All right. Let me screen share. I watched the last two. I watched the last few Gary Webenga's videos. I like watching those because they are short and they are like, to me, they are comedy category. Some kind of a dark, weird comedy. Sorry, Gary, that's not your intent, but at least I watch him. I share my screen. Let me share it for the audience. I'm gonna mute my camera. There you go. All right. We got Chike, Nestle Wipes, Farmers and Turs in Discord. If anybody else want to join, please join us. Find a link on the description box over this. I'm looking around where to put this hat. I don't want to mess it up. It's too brand new to mess it all up. There you go. Right in
It's
there.
not been accidentally sat on yet.
Not at all. No.
That's
It was still
usually
in
what
the
ends up
box, nice
happening.
yeah.
I'm wondering what the chickens and neighbourhood doves have got to do with proving flat Earth.
Well,
Do they fly
nothing
different
at all.
on flat Earth?
Yeah.
Gary does
I-
sometimes video things that have got nothing at all to do with the flat Earth, which
Yeah.
is
Before we begin with the videos, actually, I'm gonna give the opportunity to Balance Truths. Balance Truths says, "Can I ask a question? I don't know if it was us, but we're gonna entertain you, Balance Truths. Ask your questions, and we're gonna answer them here live. How about that? Just for you. We'll dedicate 5 minutes to Balance Truths. Ask the question, Balance Truths. You're up. I know you will receive this message 30 seconds after we say the things. We got a lag." If you want to join in the Discord and talk to us in real time, that'd be cool too. But if not, you can ask your question in YouTube, and all of us will answer your question one at a time. Are you happy with that, Shaik? If Balance Truth asks a question, can we answer it for him?
If I can't guarantee I can answer his question.
depends what the question is, but we can certainly have a go. I'd have thought.
Yes, I will answer every single question in the world. I can.
No, that's fine. You can provide answers.
Yeah, I mean, as a flat earther, you know what I mean? I could just make up an answer, whether I know it or not, you know what I mean? I just pretend I'm a flat earther, you know?
Okay, here we got a. I guess this is a question. Is some kind of a comment because there's no question mark, but I'm gonna take it as a question. What's the? You know what? Let's do it better. Let's put that on screen to see what level of questioning Balance Street have to see. Well, let's try not to criticize the
Yeah.
orthography. Let's let's give him feedback on if he's right or wrong. If this is actually a logic or legit question. Do you think this makes sense? And I ask, what's the scientific method that you verified straight line being curved? What's the scientific method that you verified straight line being curved? Can somebody in the chat, please, or in Discord, type the question? If you understand what he's trying to ask, can you type the question the correct way? Because there's things missing in here, and I cannot understand the question.
I
I'm
think
gonna
what
answer
he's
your question. Your question doesn't make sense. It's just grammatically incorrect that I don't understand what the question is. That is my answer to this question.
I think you missed out a couple of words there. What's the scientific method that you use to verify a straight line being curved? I think
Yes.
that's what you said.
That's exactly what I would have written it down as well.
Well,
I didn't hear it. I need it written down so I can post it. I need it written down.
Okay, let me.
I thought, Jose, you can answer any question. Well, my answer.
I answered the question. Yeah, I answered it. Go ahead.
Well, my answer to this is that I have never done it.
I'm just waiting for the correct way to ask this question so I can really understand. And me, myself, I just cannot grasp. I cannot understand what he's attempting to say.
Maybe I suspect him in level.
No, I don't think that's what he's talking about.
I didn't ask you. I'm trying to verify with the one who asked the question.
Okay.
You don't read his mind, nor am I. I suspect I said that he meant have you verified that level is a curved line.
I want to ask Balance Truths. I'm gonna entertain this, but I think this is what you meant to ask, right? I mean, he's rephrasing it. Using the scientific method, can you walk through how you verified a straight line being curved? All right, that's fair.
Yeah,
the way that Farmer's Boy corrected your question is, what's the scientific method that you use to verify that a straight line is curved?
Yeah.
What scientific method?
That's what he said.
For fuck's sake, you nitpicking now on grammar?
Yeah, but I think
I'm going to answer the question first. Me first, and then you go after me. Let's not correct him more in the question. We all understand what he's trying to ask. Let's just go straight to answer the questions. Okay, I'm going to answer your question. Balance truths. A straight line is. There's no way to verify with a scientific method that a straight line is curved. A straight line is not curved. A curved line is curved. I didn't do any of these scientific methods. I don't use any. And there's no scientific method. There's many scientific methods. I know there's a handful of like random answers, but that's all the answers that I can give you. I didn't do any of this, and you're wrong on saying scientific method because it's a bunch of them. It's multiple. It's thousands, maybe millions. The more scientific methods is a lot of them. And a straight line curved, yeah, they could be a straight line could be curved. I can draw a straight line on a basketball, so I can follow a straight line around the basketball. So I don't know what your point is, but that's your answer. Thurs, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think it was already answered in the chat by S. Thurston 2. A straight line in a spherical geometry is a great circle. And I think that is the scientific method that we would use when you're flying around the Earth. You're using great circles, and they are straight lines that are curved. And, so I would go with S. Thurston 2 Thank you for that. And I don't have to answer anything else. I don't know about what the mathematical or the scientific method is because I'm not a pilot. But I'm sure if we had a pilot in here, he could tell you what he's doing. Some kind of mathematical equation.
You're rambling a little bit. That's
You're
not an answer
waffling.
anymore, man. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
waffling
I'm
a little bit.
I'll get off then let somebody else answer. Okay.
You done. Thank you. Farmer's boy, go ahead, man. If you want to answer.
I haven't used a scientific method, but I could get a ball and draw a straight line on it, and it will be curved. You don't need a scientific method to do that. Simple observation will do it.
Nestle wipes. You want to have a go answering that? All right, there you go, Balance Truths. I hope you're happy. That was your 5 minutes of fame today. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Was that 5 minutes? That was like 4, but yeah, good times. I mean,
Someone once said that
Yeah.
everybody's entitled to 15 minutes of fame, so maybe he gets another 2 5 minutes.
nah, that was just 5.
No,
All right, we got Gary Benga in the house via screen share. So if you're not watching my screen share, you don't know what I'll be talking about. Gary Benga uploaded 2 videos 15 hours ago. We're gonna begin with this 90-degree
Alright.
angles. Hold on. He said 90-degree angles versus acute angles and how it affects visual space in your field of view. Do you understand this title? What does he imply?
that sounds like the sort of salad you might get with a steak.
That's all kinds of weird, random
Isn't it just?
wording.
Not my taste, but okay.
Yeah.
He needs to have his line straight. I mean, that guy is looking up. He's not looking straight ahead. And
Oh,
the
let's-
line that he's looking at doesn't even look straight. I mean, there's no 90 degrees
Well,
here. Where
I'm
is he getting
sure
his
it's-
90 degrees from?
I'm sure it's a freehand sketch. But let's see what Gary has
with a
to
ruler,
say. Hey?
with a straight line, with a straight edge, not
Yeah.
freehand because it looks too straight. All right, let's see what he got to say.
We're going to show why angles matter
Volume is a little low.
in your field of view and how you see things. First of all, your field of view depends on your elevation over the surface. The higher you are over the surface, the more depth and distance will be going to this end at your eye level. Obviously, if you're closer to the ground, you have less depth and distance at this eye level. We're going to call this eye level center frame. It's 90 degrees from my perpendicular. So wherever you have a 90-degree angle to a surface, that's a direct line of sight. So in this picture, I have another possibility. I can look straight down, and that would be a 90-degree angle to this surface. Here's my...
What is 90-degree understood? What?
It doesn't matter what bloody angle you're looking at. That's your direct line of sight is wherever you're looking. It could be up, it can be down, it can be across, it could be an angle. It's all just your line of sight.
I could be looking at my feet.
Exactly. Yes. If you're looking down at your feet, that's your line of
Okay.
sight.
I think it meant parallel to the ground. Not 90 degrees.
I don't know.
possibility, I can look straight down, and that would be a 90-degree angle to this surface.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
can look
okay.
straight down, and that'll be a 90-degree angle to the surface.
Here's my 90 to this surface. This is a long pole. I'm just going to say that's what it is. Long pole. So every other angle...
What does he mean, the 90 to this surface? This.
Let's not do it like Bert does. Let's let him speak and see what he has to say.
Thank you.
Because I'll forget.
Yeah,
what he-
let's just find out what he's trying to say because
That's
this is
true.
going to be funny. I think this is going to be funny.
Okay. We're gonna let it run. Let's try not to interrupt him.
Here's my 90 to this surface. This is a long pole. I'm just going to say that's what it is. Long pole. So every other angle is acute and will be seen differently in your field of view. So let's say I just do about a 45-degree angle over here, So it's right here, right? But then you go, 55, 65, 75. I mean, you can do 85, and you're going to be skimming along over here, and it's going to end up somewhere over here. So you're not going to even see it because the angle will be too acute, and the angle is the
You would think that Gary had more smoother and young-looking hands because he
So you're not
milked
gonna even see it
cows,
because
but
the angle will be too
he's
acute,
got.
and the
I
angle,
thought that milk will help your skin to look
Yeah,
smooth, but I'm sorry, Gary. I had to observe that, man.
A, he doesn't milk cows, and B, these days with the number of cows, you don't do it with your hands.
Okay,
Yeah, and see,
sorry, man.
see,
I had to criticize that, man.
and
I have
see,
worked milking cows, and sometimes
Terz, Terz, do you
Terz?
hear Shaik? Do you hear Shaik?
no, I didn't hear him. Sorry.
Well,
On you go,
we
Chike.
did.
I'm sorry, Chike. On you go, mate.
you need to compare it to my hands. Maybe it does make a difference.
Okay, that's a good one. All right, let's go. We're halfway there.
is the angle subtended to the eye, and this angle is in relation to your eye level. So my angle to the ground here, and then each other angle, they're all related to that one. So the vertex gets more and more acute the farther out you go. Same thing with vertical.
I have no idea.
At a 90-degree angle.
Did I just
If I have an angle.
say
from
something?
there,
Why
it's
does he
in
get his
relation to the
hand in front of everything? Why is he not using like a pencil or something to, so he's got something thin? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Because he's using his finger.
It's physical demonstration. It's first-hand demonstration.
I'll be honest. If I don't see his hand in the video, I'll close it. I wouldn't watch it.
right. I know. It's kind of giving personality, That's funny. Let me go back a few seconds. Here we go.
the farther out you go. Same thing with vertical. At a 90-degree angle. If I have an angle from here to there, it's in relation to the side level. And the more higher you go, the more acute, the less you will see a visual space here in your field of view than you will somewhere down here where it's less acute. All these things matter. All these angles matter. And everything's related
can I just
to your line of
interject
sight.
Go ahead, yeah.
So he's saying he's got a 90-degree sight line there, and he's saying that if you look up, it's more acute. No, an acute angle is anything less than 90 degrees. If he's looking up,
What a
that's going to be obtuse because it's obviously going to be greater than 90 degrees, isn't it?
Yes.
Blimey! If he looks down, below that, perpendicular line, then yes, the angle's going to decrease and it's going to become acute. But if you look above, it's going to become obtuse.
But he's very smart because he's being obtuse by saying acute.
10 points to Jose. 10 points to House Jose.
I'd also got to say that I don't believe that me looking at a thing is a 90-degree angle. It's a 0-degree angle. It's only when I start to raise or lower my view that an angle changes from the point in front of me,
Yes. It depends where you set that baseline from, be it a horizontal or a vertical, as to where you start measuring the angle from, doesn't it?
Yep. All right, let's finish up.
Angles
Yeah,
matter. And everything's related to your line of sight. And line of sight to a surface is not acute when it's 90 degrees. I have 290 degrees straight down, straight across. These are surfaces. This is the ground, this is the pole, this is the surface of the pole. All angles are not equal. Visual space is not equal to each section. You'll see them all in different angles, as you can tell by my previous video, where I had basically the same type of drawing, but this was just a building and I had equal sections here. It's the same.
Oh, no,
Them all in different angles are not equal.
It's like a he's throwing like a conclusion. So I want to pay attention to the conclusion, and we got the closed captions on so we can pay attention. I'm not going to pause it every time, but he just said so many good quotes in this last 45 seconds. Is great. Here we go.
Not acute when it's 90 degrees. I have 290 degrees straight down, straight across. These are surfaces. This is the ground, this is the pole, this is the surface of the pole. All angles are not equal. Visual space is not equal to each section. You'll see them all in different angles, as you can tell by my previous video, where I had basically the same type of drawing, but this was just a building and I had equal sections here. It's the same thing. Sucks to be a globy, doesn't it?
No.
Okay. We're going to show why angles matter
All right,
in your field
that's
of view
it.
and how you see
Back to
things.
the beginning.
Sucks to be a globy, does it? Wow.
Okay.
Good
I don't know
times.
which camp
good
I'd prefer to stay in, I'll tell
We're
you.
going to show why
times.
angles
All right.
matter
And
in your
there's a link for the video that just played. It's in YouTube chat box. We're gonna play. We're gonna this one more. I don't know why.
Okay.
Punishing
Why?
Wait,
myself. I
before
just want to.
before this
Yeah,
one,
go ahead.
Jose,
Go ahead.
I don't know why Gary keep mentioning the surface. Do we talk about the surface? Do we say why does the surface disappear bottom up? No, we're not talking about the surface. We're not
Yeah.
concerned with the surface. Forget about the surface. It's not there. That's not what we're talking about. And now we'll
About the
see
bottom.
how Gary have a great revelation. In this video, he will show that two adjacent angles are bigger than any inner angles. Go ahead, Jose. Play.
Thank you very
Did you need to put in spoiler alert ahead of all that?
much.
Probably not.
All right. Let's see what Gary has to say. Hello, everybody over here. We got Chaik, Dr. Bob, Farmer's Boy, J-Mac, Jacob, Snesley, and Turs. Thank you very much. I am screen sharing, so if you just joined and you want to see what I'm sharing, click on my name and watch the stream. You will be watching it in real time. If you watch it in YouTube, it will be with a 30 seconds lag. If anybody in YouTube want to see this, also join us in the Discord server and come in and be in the conversation in real time. Everything that we say is nothing hidden, nothing private. Everything is going to YouTube just with a 30 seconds of lag between us and you.
Can I
All right,
just
about to play this one. Go ahead.
can I just say something before you play this second video? Right, that first video he had a man standing looking at the wall, and he was going over all these angles and obtuse angles and all that. Now he's swapping to looking from the pole at different heights and different angles, looking down, up, Yeah, because what he should have done in the first place is have the man at the pole and say he's climbing the pole and he's looking at an angle straight down, up. You know what I mean? Because that's what he's doing now. The first thing when what height is the man standing in? Why is he saying like a straight line is a 90-degree angle when it's zero? You know what I mean? Basically, I don't understand where he's going with this.
Well, let's see if this one is I can understand better than the previous one. Because when I see a bottom first disappearance is the only possibility because whatever. I want to see what he means because when I visualize bottom first disappearance, that's welcome to the globe, I guess. So that's the title of the show today. Welcome to planet Earth. Bottom disappears first. Let's see what Gary has to say about it.
Okay. Why will the bottom become unresolvable before the top?
Oh wait, that the top of the video. That's not what. That wasn't the video that I was planning on watching. I'm not talking about unresolvable. I'm talking about like disappearance, like non-existent, like not seen at all. I'm not talking about unresolvable. Disappointed already,
Barry-
but I'm just gonna play it anyway.
Barry keeps getting all that muddled up, doesn't he?
Yeah, I'm just gonna play anyway. I mean, I'm just fucking disappointed. It's aggravating.
You know these flat earthers
Okay,
just
why-
keep swapping the goalposts.
All right, let's watch the video.
Okay, why will the bottom become unresolvable before the top? We have 6 stories, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we have sections here. They're equal to the distances here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what we start off with is an angle from here to the top of the first story. Being that's equal to this, we're going to get the 45-degree angle. Now we go to the next section 2. It's down to a 26, then an 18, then a 14, then 11, then a 9. Now we're going to take our angle to the top up here. So we get to the first section. It's 80 degrees, 72, 63, 56, 50, and finally our 45, because it's an equal distance here to here. Now remember, on the first one to the first story, our 45-degree angle was already right here. On this one, it's clear on this end. So which do you think is going to get smaller faster to the point where you can't resolve it as separate from the ground? Obviously, this one to the bottom story, because it's already down to a 9-degree by the end of this sixth section, where the other one to the top didn't reach the 45 degrees till here. Now you tell me, in your field of view, what's going to take up more space? The 9-degree angle or the 45-degree angle? The answer is pretty obvious.
Making no fucking sense.
And it continues to do that no matter which story you take it to. We'll try it to the second story.
No sense whatsoever.
Now remember, on the first story, the 45-degree angle was already at section 1. Now we're at the top of the second story. It's not till section 2, because we got equal distance, equal distance. Then it goes to a 33, 27, 22, and an 18. Remember, on the first story, we ended up over here with a 9. So at that distance, you see that part of the building completely at 18 degrees. But this bottom section is only at 9 degrees.
What the fuck is he talking about?
Now,
I have got no idea.
45
He's lost
over
me
here.
completely. I've got no idea what he's
Third.
talking about now.
Section.
I think they need more wine.
Now
Maybe
remember,
it'll start
we're at
making
the
sense.
bottom.
He's
This
illustrating
section, by the time
perspective very
the
well,
third
but it doesn't
section,
make any sense what he's
down to
saying.
18.
No.
So, while you see the whole,
Well, one thing that we all
or the whole to the second.
one
or
thing
third
that we
story,
all need to keep in mind is
45
that if you look at the top of the moon and the bottom of the moon,
the
that's
bottom
only
part
half
would
a
only be
degree.
seen 18.
So we can clearly see half a degree. So what does he care whether or not that's 9 degrees? That
The
means
thing is,
that's 18 times larger than the moon.
he's telling us he's looking at, I don't know, a pole or I don't know, we're looking at four. You know what I mean? He's saying it's things all these different angles, but we don't know what the distance is.
He does. He does.
Regardless of that, if I rise in elevation, shouldn't then the top of the building or the pole or anything become unresolvable?
Wait. He does tell us the distances. It doesn't matter what the unit is. He has the same distances up and as the distances away.
Yeah, but it would matter whether, the first distance is 100 feet and the 90 degrees he's talking about, or, what is it, 36 degrees? I can't even fucking read his writing.
He has units.
That could be 2 miles away, you know what I mean? Who the fuck knows what he's looking at? What are we observing? Is it an orange ball in a window? Is it just a dot on a
doesn't
wall?
matter.
You know what I mean?
It doesn't matter.
We got an important point here. We got under a minute left. I'm gonna play the whole thing. I'm gonna round that up to a full minute. Now, my question is, before I play this, do you think he really rehearsed this in front of his scouts and asking for feedback? As just a colorful commentary. Let's finish watching this minute, and then we'll talk about it.
Well, you see the whole building at 45, or the whole, the second or third story, 45 degrees, but the bottom part would only be seen 18 degrees. So the bottom is always going to be smaller. There's no getting around this. I can do this through the next sections. It does the same thing. Because by the time you get to the fourth story, you're going to reach your 45-degree angle here. Fifth story here, sixth story here. The bottom has no choice. The angles dictate what you see. The smaller angles.
Hold on, it's time for quotes. It's time from Gary quotes. I gotta put the closed captions in here. Here we go.
Fifth story here, sixth story here. The bottom has no choice.
I've just got one
The
comment I
angles
think that's
dictate
going
what
to
you see.
destroy this entire argument.
Smaller
but
angles.
I'll
I've
wait
done
till
one
you
as
get
well.
there.
And it will be
Bob, hold on, Bob.
first.
Bob,
to the end.
please, a few seconds. I just want to hear these. These are funny quotes. Like the bottom has no choice. I want to save those quotes from Gary's mouth. Just a few more seconds, Bob.
The bottom has no choice. The angles dictate what you see. The smaller angles will become unresolvable, and it will be bottom first. There's no way of doing this any other way. This is very simple, basic geometry. Sucks to be a glowy, doesn't it? Okay.
Thank you very much. Shout out to Gary. Thank you for letting us play.
Wow, that was garbage.
Bola?
Oh,
Bob,
that was something else.
Let's go around. Bob, what are your thoughts?
Well, let's just go ahead and look at a distance from a building. Say we're standing a certain distance from a building. Now, the floors are equal in spacing as far as they're each, say, 10 feet tall, right? Now, the angular size of the bottom floor is going to be larger than the angular size of the fifth floor. Yet, if we get far enough away, which floor goes away first? It's the bottom floor, which will always be larger than the fifth floor, but we can continue to see the fifth floor even when we can't see the bottom floor anymore. That destroys his entire argument. I doubt he'll understand why, but I think everybody else does.
Also, if we live in a world in which his crazy logic applies, then if I rise like sixth floor, then the top disappears. That's what should happen by his logic.
No, you don't need to rise. All you need to do is tell what's the angle to the top floor is smaller than the whole thing, then the top floor has no choice. It must disappear first.
Are we talking about white bang optics?
Yes,
well, I
but
think Gary Wenger is onto something here because he appears to be talking about the planar portion of an angle. When you have an angle like 2 degrees, ideally the two parts of the angle that are the top and bottom of the angle are lines of the same length. But when you take an angle and kind of warp it or reorient it to where the planar portion is, with the top line longer than the bottom line for the same angle, you don't quite have the same angle. So to have the same angle, you need the two lines on the top and bottom of the angle to be the same length, not warped. Otherwise, you really don't have the same angle. And toward the top of the object, you're going to get a different angle than the bottom of the object, actually, as opposed to the same angle.
I could drink every time he says angle.
Very good, Lemon.
That made no
which angle will be smaller? The angle to the top section or the angle to the bottom section?
The angle to the bottom because it's closer to the eye.
Yeah.
The angle to the top will have like more.
Closer to the eye means smaller angle, according to
that's where you
now. Really?
Down really? The eye. So you can have smaller angles toward the level.
Let me try it with my screen here. I'm getting close to my screen. It takes all my view. I'm getting farther away. It takes half my view.
Up from the level of the eye, yes.
Well, it takes half my view, so half my view is a bigger angle than my whole view, Lemon.
Well, the main thing that Gary Wabanga is showing is that there's more visual information up and away from the level of the eye.
No, he was talking about angles.
Where there's much more visual compression.
No, he was talking about angles. He was comparing a angle of one section to angle of 3 sections, and I could do it with the top as he does it with the bottom, and show that the top has no choice but disappear first.
Gary Wabanga in another brilliant video has shown us that there's more visual information crammed into the angles up and away from the eye, as opposed to toward the level of the eyes, where there's less visual information compared to the same angle.
What kind of nonsense that is, Lemon?
It's basically different angles from the level of the eye up. You have 2 degrees from the level of the eye up versus 2 degrees at the level of the eye. They have differing amounts of visual information in them.
I'm sure. So, but according to you now, the smaller the angle, the more information we have, Lemon.
Toward the level of the eye, you have more.
Never mind the level of the eye. I'm talking about angles now. I don't care relative to the level of the eye.
We're getting a little too jumpy here, Chaik. We gotta let each other finish. Let's be self-aware of not rolling too much too long, but we cannot be cutting every other word like that, man.
The easiest way to visualize it is take your arms to make an angle and go to the wall. Put your arms up and down to make an angle on the wall. That's like a nice little even angle. But now go toward the floor To keep that same angle, guess what you have to do? One of your arms needs to lengthen to hit that same area on the wall to give you the same length in that angle. That's what's happening toward the top of the object. You're getting the same angle, but more and more information is being crammed into that angle at a different rate as you go up and down from the level of the eye to make that same angle. So now the two lines that make the angle are lengthening, or one or both of them are lengthening to make the same angle, giving you a different amount of visual information crammed into the same angle. So these are not the same angles up and down from the level of the eye. There's a different amount of visual information crammed into the angle up and down from the level of the eye, just like that.
Where this information, Lemon, don't repeat yourself. Where this information is coming from, the more information,
the environment.
We have equal size sections. Where is the more information come from?
The environment and the placement of the eye relative to this information. Just like going to the wall with your arms outstretched to the wall to make an angle, the moment you go down to the floor, you're going to need to make your arm longer to make that same angle. It's the same thing with this visual information that we're seeing from the top to the bottom of the object to the level of the eye. It's the same angle, yes, but different amounts of information are crammed into the same angle. So it's not quite the same angle per se for this simplified abstraction that the Globers are talking about. There's different amounts of information crammed into it, just like Gary Wabanga appears to be saying.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but let me see. So if I look at two sections, but the bottom section, I will block my views to the side to prevent more information to come into my eye. So I'll see more of the bottom because I don't get information from the side.
So the 2 degrees at the level of the eyes will say have a foot of information, but the 2 degrees up from that 2 degrees, like 4 degrees up from the level of the eyes, that 2 degree packet now has more like 2 feet of information. 2 degrees up from there, you're getting 4 feet of information, et cetera, et cetera. The same angle packet up and away from the level of the eyes appears to have more and more visual information, so it's not quite the same angle. And so you're going to read that as a different way of the eye processing. The angle from the level of the eye down to the to the top and bottom of the object.
Lemon, so it's against what you say. I have less information crammed from the bottom than information from the top because you have 4 feet of information crammed to the same angle from the top and only 1 foot of information cramming from the bottom, and your cramming information does not work here.
What are you talking about? Toward the top of the object, the same 2 degree packet now goes out and expands and takes on a whole lot more information than toward the level.
Right. So we have more information crammed from the top, which should make it disappear first. No, according to you, Lemon.
If it extends far enough into the sky, sure. But the main thing you're showing is that it's not a uniform transform where 2 degrees, this much transformation. What's in the 2 degrees of information and how much information is being transformed is going to vary. And toward the level of the eyes, you're going to have more compression because that is where the narrowest angle is. Or rather, the angle that is 2 degrees with the least amount of length crammed into that 2 degrees compared to the top.
Yeah, you blame disappearance of crammed information that get jammed there and can't get to your eyes. Now, from the 1 foot, we have from the bottom section, we have 1 foot of information cramming, which can go fairly easily in this 2 degrees angle. And from the top, we will get 4 foot of information, which will get jammed, and we should not see the top. Going with your logic, Lemon.
But it's not transforming evenly. Just like when you went to the wall with your arms outstretched to make an angle on the wall, the moment you go down to the floor, you're going to need to lengthen one of your arms. So the components of the angle are not equal, Shaiki. The lines that are used to make the same angle are not symmetrical, especially if you're coming against the planar surface. So how is this transforming? The object is not transforming uniformly. Parts of the object are resolvable and other parts are not. And it appears that the part of the object that is not resolvable is the part that's closest to the surface, closest to the level of the eye, and too compressed. The part that is away from the level of the eye, up and away, where there's more information and more ample angle, is still resolvable, while the bottom is not.
Well, you just changed your story because you blamed object disappearance due to cramming of too much information into a small angle. And now you say that I should see the top, which I didn't say it. You say you have more information because you have 4 foot compared to 1 foot from the top part to the same angle. So it should disappear first because there's more information cramming there and can't reach to your eye, it can't process it.
But Wabanga has shown something that's very key here. Whatever this theory that you're going with, Chaiki, or I'm going with, we need to talk about what's going into these angles. The length of the lines making the angle and the way that the angles are oriented, skewed or straight on. And so it looks like toward the top of the object, the angle of 2 degrees has much more information than the angle of 2 degrees toward the level of the eye.
Well, we don't care about 2 degrees. We care about what is the angular size of each section, bottom and the middle or any one above it. And any section above the bottom, if you're lower than the bottom, any section above it would be smaller in angular size. That's
The smallest
because
angle is going to be toward whatever
Lemon,
the origin of the angle is.
that's because the average distance from you to the target is shorter at the bottom and getting longer and longer as you look up.
But Chaiki, the smallest angle will tend to be toward the level of the eyes anyway, because that's where you make your angles visually. You start your angle toward the level of the eyes. So that's where the most narrow angle will be, toward the level of the eyes. It's just
Show me that the bottom angle
getting
smaller.
Toward the level of the eyes is where the angles appear to converge when you're looking down a hallway. So the narrowest angle would be, guess what? Toward the level of the eyes. It's that simple.
Lemon, I didn't speak about no hallway. We're talking about a pole divided to sections, and I want to see which section has the bigger angular size. That's all. Don't speak for Gary.
The analogy works, Chaiki, in real life, because as long as you have parallel lines that are going in the direction that you're looking, the analogy of the hallway holds. And that's why, just like with the hallway, if you look out with the parallel lines that we see in real life, you're going to get the same behavior. And guess where the angles start? At the level of the eyes. So where the most narrow angle is going to be? Toward the level of the eyes, toward the surface. It's that simple.
Lemon, your derp isn't going to help you. You may want to Lemon, I'm talking.
Lemon, he's talking. You interrupted him. Yeah, not fair.
He just called it derp.
Lemon? Yeah, it is derp.
It doesn't matter.
And I will tell you why it's derp. Because you want to use an angle, you want to use an analogy of a hallway, which isn't appropriate in this case. Use the analogy that's being used, and that's a building. Is the first floor a larger angle than the 10th floor to your eye, standing some distance away from the building? Of course it is. So the larger angle is not towards the ground, or the smaller angle is not towards the ground. The larger angle is, because you're looking at it more directly. It's very easy to check that yourself. Just draw a picture.
It's the same 2 angles, it's just skewed. As opposed to the 2 angles being head on, with you making an angle with 2 sides and a flat side for the angle that's like an equilateral triangle. It's now a skewed triangle to get the same 2 degree section.
Correct. So that is the definition of angular size.
More information toward the top than it does toward the level of the eye. The planar portion that is perpendicular to these lines intersecting it, making the angle, is more skewed toward the top with more information, less skewed and more even toward the bottom with less information.
See what I said, Lemon, and draw it out and then come back and correct yourself.
The same packet toward the top is skewed, and the planar portion of the angle, where the lines that make the angle at the vertex intersect to give a perpendicular intersection on the object, it's more skewed toward the top. So toward the top, the same 2-angle packet now has like 10 feet of information, but the same 2-angle packet toward the level of the eyes only has 1 feet of information because it's less skewed.
Go ahead and draw it out. Go ahead and draw it out and show me that.
Same angle, more information toward the top. So
not
we
the same angle.
Is the angular size smaller?
here when you say same angle, same information, that's false. It's same
No.
angle.
Is the angular size of
Okay.
the first floor smaller or larger than the angular size of the 10th floor?
The angular size is the same, but the information contained in the angle is more toward the top, less toward the level of the eyes.
That's ridiculous.
So,
It's just logical. Think.
No, it's not logical. It's ridiculous, Lemon.
The
You don't know
angle,
basic geometry, Lemon.
The angles are not the same, Lemon. The angular size, and necessarily for the bottom floor, is larger than the angular size to the top floor. It has to be.
Information in the angle toward the top, Blue.
Learn basic geometry, Lemon.
No, Lemon, you're just wrong. I'm sorry. It doesn't work like that.
by that logic, if you rise in elevation, you see more of the bottom and less of the top. Why,
Yes.
when you rise in elevation, why doesn't the top disappear then?
It depends on how close to the top you are. But anyway, when you get up, you see more of the bottom.
Oh,
But you should see less of the top then.
You also have the surface in the way toward the bottom, though. There's a lot that's going on with these perspective transforms, and it's not as simple as you guys say, where you say 2 degrees of angle, this much information within the angle packet. That's false. There's
But if
more
I go
information
straight up,
in the
but
same
if I
angle
go
packet.
if I go straight up, then my relationship to the bottom is the same that my relationship was to the top when I was directly at the bottom. So everything is inverted, and now I should not see the top.
But you have a surface also to compete with in the bottom, too.
The surface is not part of the angle, Lemon. It is outside of the angle. It has no bearing on it. Period.
It's part of the processing of the image. You have the surface to deal with, the angle packet to deal with, the amount of information in the angle packet to deal with. This is not as simple as you guys are making it out, and that's why your analysis
doesn't change the angle, Lemon.
And that's why your analysis is rejected.
In this
Lemon,
case,
it doesn't change the angle.
Yeah, it appears to be you want to complicate things when they are simple, and you want to make things simple when they are complicated.
Complicated enough to simplify and solve the problem as to why a horizon forms over a flat surface. There are more compressed angles toward the level of the eyes. You got the surface in the way. The eye cannot process the image.
Well, I posted an image.
A wider angle.
Lemon, I posted an image. Do you see it of the triangle that is divided into two?
Where'd you put it?
Daily Boom on Sensor.
Yes.
Okay, which of the angle is greater and which is smaller?
They appear to be the same angle 2 degrees wise, but the top angle has more information with that straight line section of the angle than the bottom.
The information coming from the pole. Listen, the closer you are to an object, the bigger it appears to be. The farther away you go away from it, the smaller it appears to be. Now, do we agree that the bottom line, the horizontal line, is the shortest distance to the pole?
Yes.
Yes. Do we agree that any of the hypotenuses is greater than this line?
Yes.
Yes. So the average distance of the observer from the bottom part is between the shortest and the middle line, where the average distance to the top section begin with the longer line of the middle line and end with even longer line of the top line. So you must have a smaller angle without measuring anything. You must have a smaller angle to the top than the bottom.
But that line going straight up at the right there, to cut the same 2 degree packet on that line, you're going to get the straight line component lengthening. Notice how it lengthens slightly from the bottom up as you make that same 2-degree packet. And if you go, say, 100 miles up, that same 2-degree packet is now cutting a wider swath of that same, line to the right there. It may be cutting like a foot of the line toward the bottom, but toward the top, it'll cut more like, 2 or 3 or 4 feet. It'll start to lengthen slightly to make the same 2-degree angle. And so you're getting more information crammed into the same 2-degree angle. And that's what the globals are missing.
I didn't mention sizes at all. I didn't claim 2 or 4 or 3 degrees. I'm talking in general. Just in general, I'm talking. The top bottom angle will always be greater than the top one. It must be because the top section is farther away from the observer.
To cut the same 2-degree angle?
What 2-degree angle?
To cut the same 2-degree angle to cut
Why
1
you
feet
have a 2-degree
short.
angle?
To cut 2 degrees for 1 foot shore. But since you're cramming more and more information toward the top, to cut 1 degree of size, you don't need 2 degrees anymore. You could do it toward the top with something more like 1.5 degrees or 1.75 degrees because the angle is getting skewed and it's intersecting a flat planar surface at a slightly different orientation. So to get the same 1 foot of information toward the bottom and 2 degrees is not necessary. To get 1 foot of information toward the top of the building, you could do it with 1.75 degrees or 1.5 degrees. Because that 2 degrees, that same 2 degrees now has more information in it.
What information it has?
The size of the object that is in the same angle. Down toward the bottom, you want 1 foot in 2 degrees. When you take that same 2 degrees and rotate it up toward the top of the object, it's now more like 1.75 degrees per 1 foot of information. It's changing.
Right. So you have more information now on the top.
In the same 2 degrees, yes.
Yes. So, but the angles we're talking about now are smaller at the top.
So the angles are not uniform. We're having the fallacious reasoning where we're assuming 2 degrees, 1 foot of information on all parts of this planar object. That's false. Toward the top, it's more like 2 degrees, 4 feet of information.
All right, can I get a few seconds? Can I get a few seconds? Earlier, we addressed Barenstruts. Barenstruts is in the chat box, and there's a good conversation going over there. I mean, the people in the chat box. A different animal that was going on over here in the call. So, Earth is Live, just give me a big $10 super chat. Thank you, Earth is Live. And it's a point for Barenstruts. Barenstruts, you flat earthers claim we have moral affliction only because our model and the accurate predictions made by the model conflict with your flat earth beliefs. Thank you very much, Earth is Live. Balance Truths, what do you think about that comment? Just let us know in the chat box. Lemon, what do you think about that?
Model affliction. But the main thing when we're talking about these angular sizes, gentlemen, we're talking about several things that we need to remember to solve this flat earth stuff. Same angle, different size of information within that angle. 2 degrees toward the bottom has 1 feet of information. 2 degrees toward the top of the object has more like 4 feet of information. So we need to talk about the angle itself and the size of the objects that are represented in that same angle too.
So if the bottom angle is 45 degrees and the top angle is 45 degrees, how is it a different amount of information? It's the same.
The angle is becoming more oblique, Mr. Leal. So now you're taking the 45-degree angle and skewing it. And by that, stretching the amount of information that's being fit into the same angle.
Well, you have 45, 45, and 90. 90 is where the base of the base of the building, from the base of the building to your feet, however far that is a 90-degree angle up to the top.
We need to stack another 45-degree angle on top of that, but at that point we'd have a square.
No, I mean from the base of your feet to the base of the building, and then from the base of the building up to the top of the building is a 90-degree angle.
So, Leo, that's why I talked about small angle packets that can stack, because you can't stack 45 degrees without making a square. So the angle that you chose, Leo, we can't work with that because you can't stack some additional angles on top of that.
No, the other angles are the other. In a triangle, there are 3 angles. One of those angles are a 90-degree angle from the base of your feet to the base of the building, and from the base of the building to the top. That is a 90-degree angle.
Right. But you
And
can
then if I move far enough away, from that object, I could have a 45-degree angle, a 90-degree angle, and a 45-degree angle.
Okay, so Leo, I'm going to need stackable angles because we're looking at an object and trying to break it into angle packet. So Leo, I'm going to need angle packets that can stack 1 degree on top of 1 degree on top of 1 degree until it reaches the end of my visual field. With 45 degrees, if you're going to take that as an angle packet, fine, Leo. I can't stack anything on top of that. I'm going to get a square, and all of a sudden the object is outside of my visual field, which is limited to 60 degrees. So, Leo, you're going to need to give me an angle packet that is stackable up to 60 degrees of visual field. Otherwise, we're not talking about the same thing, Leo. You're giving me 45 and 45, which is 90 degrees, which is well outside of the visual field of most observers, unless I'm like a fish or something.
No, I'm talking about a building, not anything outside of a building. The building itself, you see the building, you're staying right next to the building. As you walk away from the building, you are creating a baseline on that building. And that baseline is a 90-degree angle from your position to the top of the building.
Right. It looks like you're taking the whole angle to the whole building as one whole object. I'm taking the building and breaking it into angle packets. So we'll talk when you break the building into small angle packets, like 1 degree or 2 degree each.
Right. And so I move away. So the angle that I'm looking up to the top of the building is a 45-degree angle. That is a certain distance.
The whole building.
And the other angle at the top of the triangle will also be 45 degrees, because that makes 180 degrees. A right angle triangle is 180 degrees.
Can you break that 45 degrees up into packets like 2 or 3?
Why do I need to? A 45-degree angle is a 45-degree angle. Why do I need to break it up into packets?
To illustrate how the same angle packet toward the top of the same building will have greater length.
How is that in any way relevant, Lemon?
That demonstrates what Gary Wabanga is talking about. That these
Gary Wabanga is an idiot. Let's not cite him. You tell me.
I'm going to listen to him.
How's that relative to what Leo asked you?
It shows that the perspective uniform that you're implying with 2 degrees, therefore this perspective transform expected, is off, because there's more information crammed into the same 2 degrees toward the top than toward the bottom. So your perspective will not be as uniform as you're trying to imply. Your reasoning's fallacious at that point.
Okay, so again, this demonstrates a classic finding of science denial. Rather than try and address it with corrective information, they'll try and find other ways just to get around the corrective information. This is why giving corrective information to science deniers does not work. You have to use another approach. You have to use another approach with them, and I wouldn't bother. I wouldn't bother trying to correct people like Lemon.
Lemon, are you doing that purpose, Lemon? Are you talking over Bob at purpose, Lemon?
Yeah, he is. That's his only defense. That's the other classic.
And once I start, it's hard for me to stop.
Every word.
Funding muting, it's called.
Yeah, it's funding muting, and this is another classic feature of science denial. If they don't want to hear something, they'll just talk over it, and that's what Lemon does. So this is why you don't give people like Lemon corrective information. All right, you have to take a different approach with them. That's all I wanted to say.
So you're done? My response: this is a common trait of the establishment like yourself and the Blue Pills. They enforce an opinion at the point of shame and dime store psychology to keep people from freely thinking.
Okay, Lemonbird, so let me have you freely think. If I have a building that is 200 feet tall and I move away from that building 200 feet, so I have 200 feet high, 200 feet long. What are the angles of that triangle? Name the three angles.
You got equal sides if it's a right angle, so equal sides, equal angles across from the sides.
Yeah, name those angles. Name all three
right
angles.
triangle, the only option that's left in current thinking is 45 degrees.
And what other possibility is there?
The other possibility, I mean, if you make an angle a length divided by another length, other possibilities could abound. It could look like 45 degrees in your visual scene, but your eye could have dropped the length and the angle that are pertinent to really making a true angle. You could have a false angle that looks a certain way, but it doesn't have the full length or angle component in it.
Me. I got the answer. The three angles: angle of attack, anglo-sajon, and Kurt angle. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And Kurt, did you say Kurt?
Kurt angle, yes.
So a WWE wrestler is and an Olympic gold medalist is one of those angles. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
With right triangles, we basically try to get a length divided by another length to give us a tangent and an angle. The question is, does the eye have all of the components that go into the angle? All of the length, all of the angle. It looks like the eye drops length and angle due to perspective. So it's fallacious, Leo, to assume that just because you're 200 feet away from a 200-foot object, that your eye will process it as a 45-degree image. It may not.
The question is not whether it will process it. Is that the question is, will I still be able to see the entire building at 200 feet away?
Not necessarily. It depends on how
necessarily
you are. Because if you're 6 feet off of the surface, off of the flat surface, you may have a horizon form in the foreground based off of your height, beyond which the taller object in the background will just have to
I am walking over a flat surface of ground, not over water. It's just on the ground. I'm walking away from a building. Let's say my house, 10 feet tall, and
Leo, you dropped.
No.
Talk about my house and then something you dropped.
Okay, my house is 10 feet tall. I walk 10 feet away from it. Those angles are 45, 45, and 90. Because 10 and 10 make a 45 and a 45 on the other sides.
Okay, then by
the viewing angle up to the top of the house is a 45-degree angle. Does all of a sudden, hold on, because I move away from that house 10 feet, does all of a sudden now I can't see the bottom of that house?
You're dealing with a 10-foot house and you're roughly 6 feet tall. It looks like you have enough room to evenly process the object with no problem. So I would agree with you there, Leo, that it would be 45 degrees. The area where it would not be 45 degrees is when you're dealing with a 10,000-foot mountain. If you're looking at a 10,000-foot mountain and you're 10,000 feet away, it may not be processed as a 45-degree image. It may tower above your visual field entirely to the point where it's more like 90-plus degrees. It may not even be processed as a proper symmetrical image because you're 6 feet off the ground. And so that's where I would disagree, Leo, that just because you're equal distance from an object, a distance away from the object is equal to its height, that it will automatically always be processed as a 45-degree image. Sometimes you're too close to the ground and that doesn't happen.
I will agree with you. If I'm at a 10,000-foot mountain and I walk enough that both angles are 45 degrees, I'll agree with you. I most likely will not be able to see the base of that mountain. But that's because I walked almost 2 miles away from the mountain, or 1.5 miles away. I will not be able to see it because the curvature of the earth is blocking.
Hold on, I just want to make sure, Lemon. Somebody told me that this is you in that image, the GIF that I'm sharing.
It probably is. I need to see the GIF. Where is it?
Just 2 minutes after the hour. Just three pictures up in the daily boom sensor. Is that you? Or we can think of it as if it's you.
No, it
Oh,
doesn't look
okay.
weird
Oh
enough.
my. No.
But Leo, the thing is, we also have vanishing points that are forming. So if you're 6 feet off the ground, Leo, guess where the vanishing point is going to form in the foreground to make a horizon? It's going to form for a 6-foot observer. So for 6-foot objects,
We're talking about walking 10
you
feet
have
away
a
from an angle.
horizon forming about 3 to 6 miles out, and anything that's taller will just have to set behind the vanishing points in the foreground, like the mountain or whatever.
You're right, Moyak. The houses are probably about 15 feet tall, not 10.
So that's how much you would get obscured. But yeah, a 10,000 foot mountain 2 miles away, you're going to see right to the base.
The main point that Gary Wabanga and other Chad freethinkers are showing is that this simplified version of perspective where a hump of Earth curve is in the way is inadequate to really get at what's going on. We have perspective transforms that are making the object appear to disappear bottom first, Glober Mommy and other blue pill thinkers. That is not as simplified as you think.
You don't want it simplified, so you have a way to deny things. Like, for example, if I ask you a question, Lemonbird, if I have a rectangular car and I turn that car on its side, is the shape of that car still a rectangle?
Yeah.
I'm glad you could answer that, because in GeoServer, they could not answer that, and they would not answer it, and they think the shape is different.
But the real question, Leo, is how is the eye processing the image? Does it see a rectangle? Does it see nothing but a line? Does it see anything at all based off of the way the eye processes the image? So the simplification from Globers that says you're 45 degrees, from an object or whatever, and therefore the height is equal to the distance from the object, that's off, because parts of the object will be cut off, making you lose length and angle even over a flat surface. So your analysis is specious and missing key elements.
It's not specious, though, because, like, for example, B-Ball did a thing a while back where he measured the distance from his basketball hoop, got a theodolite, and measured the angle to the rim of that basketball hoop. And calculation, and guess what? The calculation of how tall it was almost dead on exact of how tall it actually was.
It's good enough, but it's missing a few key elements here beyond the simplification. But it is good enough, Leo. It's good enough.
But that would work from any distance he walked away from it. He could walk 2 miles away and still get the proper height of the basketball hoop.
As long as it's within the right visual range and height and distance hasn't been cut off due to perspective over a flat plane, yes. But eventually your calculations are going to be off, especially when you're dealing with really tall objects and really great distances.
Why does it work with small objects but not really tall objects?
Your visual field is nice and stable. If you're dealing with something that's really tall, it starts to get unstable because you're too close to the ground. Your eye's going to want to form a vanishing point based off of your height. If you're 6 feet off of the ground, Leo, your eye is going to demand a 6-foot vanishing point in the foreground. And anything that's too tall in the background will just have to set. That's when, these ratios get off and unstable.
Lemon.
Go ahead.
But Lemon, why is it that even when we're really high off the ground, we still get things getting obstructed?
Eventually, a horizon will form, and the way this perspective transform, happens, where the objects change size and aspect based off of how far away you are due to perspective. It's not universal across the board. I mean, this stuff is really complicated.
Do you think if we did live on a globe, would things be obstructed bottom up as they went away? water?
Obviously, B-Ball, I used to be a glober. I used to accept this stuff. You're asking me these questions as if I wasn't a glober, and that's just kind of, strange.
So why is that
I
no
used to be a
longer?
glober.
Why is that no longer an obvious thing?
Because we have a viable mechanism for why a horizon forms in the foreground and taller objects fade into the background.
Well, how
Over a
come we
flat
can't make this
surface.
happen over? How come we can't make this happen on a small scale?
People have done that. Life was Short did it. You guys just said, "Oh, the floor is curved" or some other crap. You guys invoked excuses to preserve your model. So at that
did he
point,
do that?
believe whatever you want to believe.
Did he do that with physical models?
They Life was Short did it over a lake, flat, no obstruction. He showed a light disappearing bottom up over an unobstructed flat lake. In came Bearded Devil and other globe
When have we
zealots
ever
to make
seen
excuses.
perfectly flat water, though? When have we ever seen
Oh my
perfectly flat,
God.
still,
How
non-moving
flat does the
water?
water need to be? Do you need to use a laser to show how flat it is? If you need to use a laser to show how flat it is, B-Ball, then the flat earthers' laser tests are admissible because they're
But we
showing
can't
a
use
flat
lasers because
standard
we know
that the
lasers
Earth
are
is not
affected by
deviating away
refraction.
from.
We can't use lasers through the atmosphere because we know lasers are affected by refraction.
Too many excuses. It's flat. I'm sorry. And a horizon will form in the foreground based off the height above the surface, and anything taller will just have to fade into the background, no obstruction.
You do agree with that, though, right? Lasers are affected by refraction?
Yes, but not enough to talk about. Unless the atmosphere affects the laser at 8 inches per mile squared, that is irrelevant.
So we can't use lasers then, right? Because they're affected by
No,
refraction.
we can use lasers because they're straight enough.
But they're affected by refraction. So that wouldn't give you an
Not
accurate
enough to count.
Measurement, right?
It would need to be 8 inches per mile squared of obstruction for us to even talk. If it is not 8 inches per mile squared,
I think we do
cares?
get that.
I have a simple.
I think we do get that, don't we? We do get 8 inches per mile squared obstructed. I mean, we've seen many examples of that.
I got a quick question in reference to 8 inches per mile squared. If I'm staying at a specific location, Lemonbird, and it's 8 inches a mile away of drop, and I walk to that point, and I look out another mile from the point that I walk to, is it 16 inches a drop there, or is it 8 inches a drop?
It would be 8 inches from wherever you start at. So you have a new starting point, it would be 8 inches from that starting point. From the original point, it would be 2 miles, I guess. Wait a minute. How far away are you from the second point? It's 8 inches per mile squared. So if it's 2 miles away,
if there's 8 inches a drop, if I see 8 inches a drop in 1 mile,
right?
I'm staying at a particular location. Say at the beginning of my table, it's only 4 feet, but who cares? Long. I'm standing at one end of the table, and in that 8 inches, in that table is representative of 1 mile, and so there's 8 inches a drop, right?
Right.
And I walk to the other end of that table. The next mile in front of me, is that mile 8 inches or is it 16 inches?
It would be 8. It would be constant from the starting point to the end point.
Perfect. So it's a constant 8 miles, not a cumulative 8 inches.
It would be 8 inches per mile squared from origin to end point.
Okay, perfect. There were people like Merle in the server and Jump server earlier that wouldn't admit that. I'm glad you could admit that.
Well, as free flat thinkers, we're coming up with new theories that help us solve these problems a whole lot better than the Globers from a flat Earth perspective. I think we should listen to these people like Gary Wabanga and see what they have to say.
You solved it pretty well.
So I have a picture, right?
If you turn around, Lyle, and walk back to where you come from.
Hold on, Brian. That was somebody just right before you, and then you after him.
So I have images, right? Of course, everyone's seen my images, and you said the 8 inches per. We don't ever see 8 inches per mile squared, right? So the curve calculator that no one really likes because it doesn't include refraction, but it's just, based on light traveling in straight lines. That looks pretty accurate because if I take 11 feet and at a 14-mile distance, that gives me a target hidden of about 65 feet, right? And then when I look at a picture that I made where it has the water line and then the crosshairs line, the water line comes up to about the 7th floor. So that's, if you take a like normal like floor height there, let's say roughly 10 feet, that's pretty close to 8 inches per mile squared, right? That'd be pretty close to 65 feet, don't you think?
Yeah.
So are you saying the water is bulging up?
It appears that that's what he's saying because he says the water
claiming the
comes
water is
up.
bulging up because nobody's claiming the water is bulging up because that will be a difference in elevation, would it not?
Oh, it's fine. Your words belie what you really think. You say it came up to the 7th floor. So by the way that you use your words, yes, you think that there was a bulge of water in the way.
No, there's no bulge. Well, let's say the building dropped because of curvature. That's what I'm going to say.
It dropped behind a hump of water.
It dropped behind Earth curvature. 6th floor.
You have to look down to the 7th floor.
Beyond a hump of water.
Well, the hump in the middle would be a fourth of 8 inches
Let me
squared.
show you what I'm talking. Let me go ahead and show you what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But
the hump of water kills these guys.
Well, the hump of water would come up from a cord, but a cord going through the earth, yes, there would be a hump of water going up. But unless we can establish that, cord through the earth or whatever, we're putting out a lot of theory in a way too.
Well, it looks like Earth is Life had to look down to the 7th floor. His eyes had to look downward direction to the 7th floor.
Well, the analogy of the hallway still holds, gentlemen, because anytime you're looking parallel and everything is going parallel to where you're looking, it will be just like that hallway, where something is going to appear to ramp down anything above the level of the eyes, and anything below the level of the eyes will appear to ramp upward.
So you see where the water is and where the crosshairs are, right? The water is right about just above the 7th floor.
Yeah, but we know that that cannot be, can it?
But it is. We're looking right at it. We're looking right at it. What do you mean that can't be? What do you mean that can't be?
If the Earth is flat. If the Earth is flat, that can't be.
If the Earth is flat, there'd be no reason. If the Earth was flat, there would be absolutely no reason why I wouldn't be able to see the bottom of this building.
It's an optical illusion. Don't you understand?
But it's not. It's just a simple curved
7
surface.
floors that would be flooded. I mean,
it's optical illusion. He means magic.
That's confusing.
Optical illusion. He means magic, bro.
Can I ask Lael a question now?
An optical illusion wouldn't have a physical, real objects in it, though. Water's physical and buildings are physical.
An optical illusion wouldn't have physical objects in it.
How dare you asking how the magic trick works, Leo?
Sorry.
Can I
go ahead? Ask me a question, Brian.
Leo, so you've walked a mile and gone down an 8-inch curve, yeah?
No, I walked a mile. In that 8 inches where you guys claim there's an 8-inch curve, and at that point I look straight out another mile. Does it drop away from me?
No, I'm asking you a question, not you asking me a question. Right. We do not claim there's 8 inches drop in a mile of water.
I never claimed that either. I'm not even talking about water. I'm talking about walking on water.
So
you're going to get
how do
obscure
you know that the surface you're on is following the curvature of the Earth?
Because we see
the Earth
things
has curvature.
What?
The Earth has curvature, therefore the surface I am walking on follows the curvature of the Earth.
Well, what if the ground rises up in front of you?
The water's not going to do that.
That's what would happen on a curved surface.
You could be
That's what happens
walking
on any surface.
20 feet in a mile.
Brian, that's what happens on any surface.
Raising. Its elevation is raising.
Yeah, that's what happens on any surface,
I'm
Brian.
not talking to you. I'm talking
Even
to
if you're standing, even if you're standing on a ball, even if you're standing on a ball, you're still going to see that.
I'm talking to Lael. Lael, you state that you walked a mile and went down 8 inches, correct? Not correct, obviously.
Brian, if you're standing on a hill and you look down, does it look like the hill is going up?
I am not talking to you. Talking to Lael. Thank you very much. Lael,
I'll walk with you. I'll follow you, Babbitt. I'm not going to answer you, but I'm going to put myself in your shoes so I can see where you're coming from. Go ahead.
Lael stated if he walked for a mile, he would be 8 inches lower than where he started from. Let's assume that the ground he's on is following the curvature of the earth. What if he turned round and walked back the same mile? Would he go down another 8 inches?
See, that's the thing. He's not going down.
He's not going.
Yeah, down implies an elevation change.
So what do you think, Lael? In any direction you walk, you'd be going
you want to play?
another 8 inches, surely.
Are you ready for the answer?
Yes.
I think he's conflating.
Hold on.
Wait a minute. If that land that I was walking on was leveled out to be 75 feet all the way across that mile, in both directions, it would stay 75 feet above sea level. It would not change because they have made it that level.
So
and it follows the curvature of the earth at 8 inches per mile squared. However, the elevation of the land I'm walking on is elevated to a point where it could be in that 8 inches per mile squared could be level at 75 feet above sea level.
Yes, I understand that. So we're assuming now the ground you was on is following the curvature of the earth, yes?
Sure, yes.
Right. So if you walk a mile and you go around that curvature and end up 8 inches lower than when you started from...
Nope, I don't walk 8 inches. You didn't listen to what I said.
Can I say something really quick? The only reason why we
75 feet above sea level that entire mile. If I walk that mile, every step I take is going to be 75 feet above sea level. It's not going to drop below 75 feet above sea level.
Right, but levels a curve, don't you?
They leveled the ground to be 75 feet above sea level, all the way across that mile. But
Is your mile following the curvature of the earth or not?
Yes, it can follow the curvature, and at one end, they could have it leveled 75 feet and 8 inches, so it's leveled to 75 feet all the way across. And I have just walked completely across that distance at 75 feet above sea level, every inch of that mile.
Right. And what if you turn around and walk back?
It will still be 75 feet above sea level, every inch of that mile.
So would you be going down another 8 inches?
No.
Can I say something really quick?
No.
Can we simplify it?
So that
please?
8 inches, that 8 inches.
Your mother states you would.
Brian,
simplified it
really quick. Brian, that 8 inches is in.
It's ridiculous.
In reference to the horizontal at your starting location, that 8 inches drop is in reference to the drop from that starting point. So you're dropping below that horizontal from your starting point.
So if two people
you're not changing in elevation, you're dropping from your original horizontal position as you walk.
Let's extend this land out to 2 miles then.
Perfect. And everywhere along that
Not going to change, Brian.
You'll drop 32 inches.
The other end.
You'll drop 32 inches from your original position.
Lael's at one end, I'm at the other end. We start walking towards each other. Are we both going to drop 8 inches?
No.
From the original position.
The land is elevated at 75 feet above sea level for 3, 5, 10 miles.
So
You're
this
going to
one,
stay
walk
all the
towards
way
you,
across that
you're
5
not
miles.
going to
You will
drop that
stay 75 feet above sea level.
So Leo, why are you adding an elevated plane above sea level? I mean, that's like putting an
just
extra
start
thing
at
in there.
zero.
Pretend you're Jesus.
Yeah, just start at zero. Zero sea level.
You're Jesus
Brian,
walking across
you're
the pond.
starting at a level plane of 0 feet above sea level. All the way across a 5 mile distance, you walk, you're going to stay at 0 feet above sea level. It will not change.
What won't change?
The distance
Your
above
elevation.
sea level.
But your level curves, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yes, the Earth has curvature.
So you
but
will
they're
be
leveling the land so that you walk the same height above sea level all across that 5 miles or 10 miles or 20 miles. Doesn't matter.
Let's just go 2 miles and let's walk towards each other. Are we both going down 8 inches?
No.
No.
You're staying elevated at 75, or you're staying elevated at 0 feet above sea level all the way across that stretch of land, because that's what
Do
they
you
have leveled
see
it to.
how ridiculous this is?
It's not ridiculous because you just don't
What
understand.
It is
that's what's ridiculous, Brian, is your lack of understanding of geometry.
Want to understand is what's ridiculous.
Both going down in 8 inches into
Okay,
a
Brian, we
Brian,
just
hold on.
told we're not.
fucking ridiculous.
Brian, listen.
Now let's
If I'm
change the
standing in one
scenario. Hold on. Let's change the
I'm
scenario.
standing in.
Let's
No,
say, and this
let
is
me-
purely a scenario, and let's just work with it for a minute. Let's say that 2 miles is perfectly level and flat. And
That's
we
what I
walk
just said. We
together,
leveled it to 0 feet above sea level. You walk
we
all the way
walk
across that 2 miles.
towards each other on a level
Brian,
plane that's flat.
They leveled that.
Raise not.
Hold on,
All
Leo.
right,
Let him
guys.
go through
Man,
it.
it's chaos, man.
Sound more realistic.
Are you done, Brian?
No.
He's
You
never
know,
going to be done. You're going to continue on, so the only way to talk is to talk over him.
Yeah,
No,
but nobody can
no,
hear what
there's other
anybody's
ways.
saying when you do that.
I'm trying
There
to.
is other ways. We can talk like normal fucking people. Make one statement or a question and then shut the fuck up and let the other person talk. You don't have to interrupt every other word, for fuck's sake.
So, okay.
Don't talk to Lyle like that.
Oh, it's to you too, motherfucker. You're the one not stopping. Fucking just waffling in there.
You made the perfect point, Brian. The people who build streets build it level all the way across that distance. Whatever the distance may be, 1 foot, 12 miles, doesn't matter. It's the same elevation all the way across. If I walk towards you, we're going to stay at the same elevation all the way across. Even if the Earth has curvature, we could still stay at the same elevation.
But I thought you
All right,
said
can I
8 inches.
Can I get in here real quick? All right, Brian. Let's go to something that we know is curved. Let's go to a basketball. We have 2 people or 2 objects on a basketball, right? At one position, that position makes a horizontal plane, right? At that position, which extends out, and we know that horizontal plane is going to extend and extend off and away from the ball. Are you following me so far?
A tangent, yeah?
Yes.
Right.
Now, the other position on the ball is going to be at a different horizontal.
Oh.
Right? So the first position, hold on, wait. The first position is going to be on top of the ball, right? The second position is going to be a little bit off to the side of the ball. So it's going to be a little bit lower, right? With respect to the first position, because the first position is on the top.
Oh dear.
But those 2 positions are both at the same elevation from the center of the ball. So if the first position travels to the second position, is it going down? No, it's not going down. It's not changing position, but it is going down with respect to its original position. Does that make any sense to you?
None whatsoever.
Of course not.
So if we're say we're 2 miles apart then, and we walk towards each other and meet in the middle, which way have we gone? Up or down?
Level.
You have not changed your elevation, Brian. We're on the basketball. You have not changed your elevation. All elevations on the ball are exactly the same.
Have you got a ball there? Put your 2 fingers either sort of 45 degrees and then bring them to the middle of that 45 degrees and tell me whether your fingers go down or up.
They have, with respect to the center of the ball, no, they have not gone down or up. They're all at the same elevation from the center of the ball.
So there's no 8-inch drop then?
May I illustrate it a
The
different way?
8-inch drop, hold on.
All relative.
The 8-inch drop comes from if you're at one position, right, with respect to a different position.
Yeah, it's relative.
You can't. I understand you can't understand that, but if I'm from my original position, yes, from a tangent, it has dropped below that tangent from the first position.
Right.
That's where the drop comes from.
And what about the other person coming the other way? Have they dropped as well?
That they have their own position, and if they're looking at the second position, yes, it's going to be a drop from their tangent.
Yeah, unless you got a bird's eye view, unless you got an outside, you are the third party looking at those 2 people, then you can entertain that. But as for oneself, it's relative. You're always in the surface. You're walking, no matter how much you walk, you're just in the surface, in the top. You're always in the top.
Every position on that ball is going to have its own horizontal plane.
I suspect Brian got it, and his laugh kind of gave it that he got it. Now he's trying to unsee it. He's trying to unsee the tangents and the drop.
It's
Can I illustrate it?
Reality.
Can I illustrate this a different
Brian,
way?
that's need to be tested.
It is not
That
reality.
need to be tested.
It's not reality.
It is.
I know, man. Spheres confuse you, don't they?
What forced into your brains is complete lunacy.
Brian,
I know,
have a
man.
different
Spheres are
illustration.
really difficult.
And now you have to keep bolstering up this nonsense to keep your fantasy alive.
Brian, I have a different illustration for you.
Talk and let talk, Brian. Talk and let talk.
Right, I'm off to bed anymore.
I have a different illustration. Oh, gosh.
Thank fuck for that.
Yeah, see, he had to run away.
No, he's got to go to bed because he's. Oh, fuck.
I think he got the point.
I have a request. I have a request for any flat earther who has, which they all should have, knowledge about angular size. I want to discuss with them with relation to my normal event. If there is one, please join us.
Gary's out there, I think.
I don't think he has any clue about angular sizes.
The illustration that I was going to ask was kind of in a 2-part thing. I was going to say, is it true that mountains are not level? And then obviously the answer is no. If I built a house on the side of a mountain, could I build a level floor that overhangs the mountain?
Absolutely. That's why we have houses on the side of mountains.
Yeah,
well,
say like
someone built them, but not Leo.
Well, I would build it. You're right, 'cause I don't know.
Leo, if mountains are not leveled, can levels be mountains?
What? Sure. I guess.
If mountains are not level, can levels be mountains?
Sure. I don't even know what that means. That's like a lemon birdism. If I wanted to spend the money, I can make that, say like it was a kitchen, overhang the mountain by 2 miles, and it'd still be level all the way across that kitchen.
Everybody likes mountains and happy little clouds.
Yeah, look at Happy Clouds. Bob Ross loves Happy
Happy
Clouds.
clouds and mountains, always. Yes. There. Shout out to Bob Ross. R.I.P.
Here's
His
my
son
my
is good.
crude drawing
Levels
Go
are
ahead.
to
flat
illustrate.
levels.
This is my crude drawing to illustrate what I was trying to tell Brian.
You're like a good drawer, man. You should hire Jose to. Jose should hire you to draw for him.
Yes,
I just drew it on my phone.
yeah, but it's not like he never saw it before, and he gets what
Right,
we're
right.
talking about, but it's just don't make sense. That's not reality.
So, Lemonbird, would you agree though that what I just said? If I had the money, I could build a house on the side of a mountain and build it to overhang the mountain by 2 miles, and say like the kitchen or the family room, whatever it is, that overhangs by 2 miles. I could have that thing completely level all the way across, even though over the overhang. True or false?
Yeah, you'd have to build on a flat level though. You'd have to build a flat level into the mountain.
We're talking a mountain. We're talking a mountain and an overhang off of a mountain.
Yeah, the point is you would have to build it on a flat level. But yes, Leo, you could do that. You would have to build a
If
flat
it was
level into the
sticking
mountain.
out 2 miles, it would be way past the edge of the mountain.
Right. A flat level, not a curved one. The way the globe is trying to imply.
Off the mountain, making it off the mountain, so they're building an angle from a curved surface.
It would be a flat
There's
level,
tons of,
not a curved one. There's no such thing as
tons.
curved.
There are tons of houses on the side of mountains here in Hawaii. Tons of them.
And they're built on flat levels, not curved ones.
Yeah, off the side of the mountain though.
Look at the pedikid
curved
doing
surface.
science. Look at the pedikid doing science in a tennis ball. I don't know if that's a pedikid.
It reminds me of Lemon.
We did it.
Is that Moyak man in his younger years?
Yeah, Glover Mount. Yeah, that was in Halloween. All he did was dye his beard black. He's another.
Or
person.
he also lost a lot of weight, or it was a long time ago. Right,
All of the
Moyak?
above. All of the above.
I didn't know you could balance so well, Moyak.
Whoa!
If that man if the man standing on the ball put his arm up at a 45-degree angle, would that be an angle from a curved surface?
Whoa, great question. Mind blown.
And would you look at that? The position he's standing at is flattened out, except it's on a curved surface.
How about that? All kinds of sciencey stuff going on here. Thanks, Glover Mommy, for sharing that.
Yeah, thing is, it's like 3 seconds. Not even.
Oh, there's woke up. Go ahead.
No, I was on the phone with my sister, right? I'm sorry, but I haven't talked to her in like a week or so. But yeah, this is like what 2/3 or 3/3 of a second. Who knows where that ball kicks out from under him and he falls over and cracks his skull? You know what I mean? We don't see the rest of the video.
Guys, remember, you gotta adjust your accent because a lot of people don't understand your thick accent, man.
Okay, what I was saying is, what if this is just a 3-second part of a video and he kicks that ball out from under him, falls on the floor, cracks his skull, and proves the flat earth?
No, this is a 10 hours video. This guy did a challenge of standing in top of a wall for 10 hours. Yeah, it's in real time here.
Wow, a bobblehead doll of Moyak.
Moyak is a clone. There you go. Confirmed.
Clone
You
or
know
a
what?
clown?
I think Moyoc and CC
Clone.
from Westchester County, New York, are the same person.
Westchester County was a little bit away from me when I lived up there.
But that doesn't mean you can't drive a car. I mean, all flat earthers do that.
Some don't.
Well, all the important ones do, and they film and stream while they're driving.
And the number one rule is no flirting and driving. Very dangerous indeed. All right, we got some sciencey stuff on screen right now. How about that? We got Bob and Alice.
Bob and Alice.
Alice? Who the f is Alice?
That's some good stuff. That Bob and Alice stuff.
I mean, it says a lot for these morons if they can't understand such a simple concept. Two people stood on the same arc of a curve, you know.
Yeah, the fact that Brian can't understand or feigns not understanding the model.
Oh, he understands the model. Don't you worry. Some people do genuinely not understand it. Shout out to our Canadian friend.
What I don't understand is why don't they make the models of these men small enough so they can't see each other's feet over the hump or the curve, and then tell us why it's just atmospheric.
Look, that's the least of your worries. They can't get their heads around two people standing on the same sort of arc, the same bit of curvature.
Oh,
they
there
can't
we
get their head
go.
around that. So don't worry about whether they can see their feet or not. Blimey.
That's the real Bob and Alice going on here now.
Yeah, there we go. They can't even see each other's heads. You know what I mean? That's too much. You know what I mean? Blow us. What's going on?
Yeah, but it's also the fact that they don't measure anything at foot level. It's always eye level.
I think I've often seen in a lot of these flat earth things is they don't actually put in any numbers for angles. They just say it's 45, 90, 120, you know. And another thing is they don't put in any distances. I mean, the guy who was talking earlier, 2 videos, not a single distance, not a height to the, he first said it was a pole, then he started saying it was floors, but there was no height to know what the height each floor was. And he had a man in the first one, but no man in the second. So how the hell are we supposed to know distances? Because that calculation could come into not being able to see a thing. That's what I'm saying.
Flastoid is not impressed, man.
He doesn't look like he would be impressed if I set him on fire.
What's the purple thing he got going on in the hand?
I shudder to think.
Crayon. I want to say crayon.
Marker.
Yeah, some sort of marker, I suspect. But
I think
I think he spent too much time spraying cars without a mask on myself.
I think it could be.
There's Tommy Grumble want to thank you because he will adjust the model. He's a model maker on software, right? So he's gonna adjust the model after your point of seeing their feet. So probably in the near future we're gonna see a video of Bob and Alice and their feet in the globe, in the curvature.
I'm just asking as well, could we put a beard on some of them, to make them look more like me?
I want to congratulate Flatsoy because I guess he got a bunch of money for a computer, but I guess he could bought a computer. I don't know if he have received it or set it up, but he's doing a stream and it doesn't look like he's on a computer. He's still doing the same.
No, well, Oakley
Arwen style.
Oakley set up the GoFundMe for him, didn't he? And he's hit the target. And so I suspect he's probably waiting for the money to be transferred from Nathan. And then I think the plan is that they're going to buy the computer and components and then assemble it.
Okay. I wish him good luck because I want to go. If he does the shows on Discord, I want to go and troll the shit out of Flassoid in Discord. I really do.
I
So I
think
hope he
that's
does all the panels and stuff.
Don't forget, Jose, you need to subscribe if you want to troll.
Yeah. I hope he does like open, open panels and stuff.
Yeah,
You
it's
not
open to anyone that subscribe.
Do you not think that's a vape thing he's got in his hand? I think it's a vape.
I don't know. I don't think he vapes.
I think he had an itchy nose and he scratched it. He forgot the marker cap was off.
Or maybe he likes sniffing, these pens,
Yeah, some people eat crayons, some people sniff markers, whatever rocks their boat,
It's much better things
Yum
you can sniff
yum.
than that. Oh.
Yum yum, smells like grape. Troll responsibly, people. Troll responsibly. I found a channel yesterday. I went to they had an open stream, and it was like an open hangout, right? It was a group of people of I guess they do karaoke or some shit like that, but they were just having a hangout and talking to each other. So like, what's this channel about? It's like, we just shooting the breeze, we just talking random stuff. I said, all right, I'll join. So I went, I jumped in their stream for a few minutes, and there was just a group of random weirdos, and I told them about my channel, and I got like 5 or 6 subscribers. 2 people joined last night on my Discord. So I'm expecting, if you guys, whoever the new people from the stream that I found yesterday, at any time I told them I like to pick on people's brains, new people that haven't been into the topic of science and the globe and flat earth and none of that shit. I would love to have you one day. We'll sit down and we'll talk, we'll troll each other or whatever. And they were happy, they said like, yeah, I'll stop by one day. So hopefully in the near future we get one of the few new people coming on over here, and we can ask them all kinds of good questions.
Wouldn't you be a little sad if you actually had somebody and they converted to flat Earth during their lives?
Oh, I would love that, man. I will take pride of it.
Yeah, I mean, I chat with people from, all around the world, Canada, Australia, North Korea, stuff like that. A lot of that is talking about food and fishing and, other stuff, and it's good to just talk to other people that do just normal shit.
All right, we're getting close to the end over here. Let me share this image. Hold on, because of it just scratch and sniff, type of thing. With this image in the background.
Oh, really?
I want to thank everybody. I just want to say thank you everybody for coming in and hang out. I had a $10 super chat. That wasn't bad, so thank you very much. That was actually Earth's Live who supported me via the super chat. I didn't get any PayPals today, but it's okay. Bills are everything straight. From the 15, I think it's up to the 18 that I got for the internet. I'm good. I got like $25 or $30 already accumulating for that, so we're all right. But if anybody would like to help, Jose covers snacks or energy drinks or some shit like that. Hit me up on PayPal. Super chat. We got a super thanks if you're watching this video recorded. So check on the next on the buttons underneath the video, and there's a super thanks button that you can support also. Thank you everybody that was here on YouTube chat box having the discussion. It was fun. Thank you everybody that was here on Discord talking, having fun. On screen right now, this scratch and sniff is some flat earth research. Thank you so much, Brufus, for sharing that with us. Thank you everybody again. Let's do some final thoughts. If you don't want to speak, well, don't say nothing. Brufus, you're up first. Chaik, final thoughts.
Time flew today, so it must have been fun. Thank you.
Thank you. It was a little under 2 hours. It was about 2 hours show today, so it wasn't the regular 3 hours. But it's to get. We're wrapping up in a high note where we still like a little bit of energy going on. All right, thank you, Shai, for coming in. Dr. Bob, are you there for final thoughts?
Oh yeah, just another frustrating experience. I'm really tired of trying to give corrective information to these folks. They don't want to hear it. So the thing that I'd really rather concentrate on is why do they feel that this is an appropriate alternative to reality? What need does it meet in them? So it's basically an exercise in psychology, and that's all. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much, Bob. Earth is Life, final thoughts. Earth is Life, what do you think about the strategies they use? When they ask questions and you give them answers, they like laugh and like, make all kinds of background noise like if it was a joke, the answers you give.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the point. They reject all evidence, so like giving them evidence is kind of pointless at this point, unless you have people who are actually looking for the truth. And those who were actually looking for the truth are no longer flat earthers, so we can just look at that. Um, anyway, good show. I missed, I guess, the beginning of it, so I'll probably go back and listen. I'm going to be putting out just a little a video just showcasing how Witsit is a liar. But yeah, anyway, good show.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it.
Yep.
All right. Farmer's Boy, final thoughts.
Yeah, sorry, I had to deafen myself for a lot of that. But what I did here was entertaining enough, so thank you once again.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. We have Left Lane. Left Lane, it was a fun one today. Your final thoughts. I mean, it was a little bit of a shit show, but final thoughts, Left Lane. You're busy. Don't go crazy. You're driving. Moyog Man, you're up.
I just came in for the end of the show. Had fun as usual. Interesting. A lot of people you got here. It was good having some flat Earth participation. But that's it. Had fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Snesley Wipes, final thoughts.
Yeah, it was it's kind of a shit show. But yeah, thank you very much, Jose, for hosting again. Take care, Mano.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Quickly, on Friday, I got something to do in the around this time, so I don't think I'm gonna do the show really early, but I want to have a Friday festivities, so I will do that one later in the afternoon, like starting somewhere around this time, maybe an hour or two after this time. So be aware that Friday festivities will be an afternoon show. Boom.
Cool.
There's final thoughts.
Yeah, I got a couple of final thoughts. I don't think that guy's sniffing his ass. I think he's got a big stick of cocaine up his ass, and he's snorting some cocaine.
That's a weird way to snort.
Yeah, well, if you got a stick of cocaine up your ass, what else would you do rather than scratch it with your nails and then sniff it? Especially at work, right? Anyway. The second, part is, I got some really good news that my mum's doing well. I put her in hospital at the beginning of the week, and she's doing well, and that's a huge relief to me. And my third thought is, did I already donate to you tonight?
I don't think tonight, but don't worry about it, man. This is gonna be another day, so you good.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm just thinking if I haven't, I'll give you another. I'll give you a donation. Because I like yours. You're such a genuine host and so much fun. I always want to give you something when I'm passing by. So I'll have to look. It will come up in my emails anyway. I'll go check there later. But yeah, fantastic show. Thank you very much, Jose.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And after all this ugliness of the show, after that ugliness of the guy scratching his ass, first views of my new niece.
Ah.
God bless her, man. Beautiful. Look at the big feet she has. Big feet.
Can you be tall?
100% healthy. It's all good. Yeah. So they let her go. They released her a few hours ago in her house, and yeah, hopefully I can see her very soon. Thank you
What
very
they say,
much, everybody.
Again.
No, thank you. I'm gonna get out of here. Take care of the dogs and myself. I gotta eat something. Thank you very much, everybody. Jose JG out. Boom.
You know what they say, big feet